Some might say that life is a test, and I really believe that, because challenges and obstacles are always coming our way, especially in our 20s and as we enter into adulthood. And the way we persevere and handle those obstacles and those challenges and those difficult times is what produces our character and ultimately produces a great, profound sense of gratitude and joy as we make it through. Today we're going to talk about 3 key ways to become unbreakable and resilient in your 20s. We're going to talk about becoming financially unbreakable, mentally and emotionally unbreakable, and spiritually unbreakable. Some might say that to become unbreakable, you need to be broken. And I believe that's true, but here are 3 ways to proactively build resilience and character so that you can face anything that comes your way. First, let's talk about becoming financially unbreakable. And you do that by living below your means at about 60% and building a strong emergency fund. I talked to the president of my company a little bit ago, and he said, Chris, starting from my 20s, I lived at 60% of my income, and it worked out very nicely for me. I thought that said a lot. Some of the most successful people in the world live below their means because they know that if something comes up, something unexpected like losing a job or sickness and additional medical bills or a new expense like getting a puppy, they have the means to cover themselves financially. And that brings me to the other aspect of creating a financial buffer in case things come up, and that is building an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a pool of cash that you can tap into when you need to, when you lose your job, when something goes wrong and you have a new expense that you did not foresee. And let me tell you, that will happen. It's happened to me. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Oh my gosh. But just know, having that emergency fund is critical. I feel like every year in my 20s, something unexpected has come up. And you can also use an emergency fund to pull some cash to go on that vacation that comes up that you really want to go on. But anyways, in terms of building an emergency fund, you want it to be roughly 6 months of your living expenses. So you're going to look at what your rent is, and however much that is, make sure you have cash to cover it. What's your phone bills and your other key living expenses, like maybe a gym membership, or how much do you spend on groceries a week? You want to make sure that if you lost your job or your source of income, you could cover all of these operational living expenses for 6 months. That should be enough time for you to find a new opportunity and pivot. The only thing I can guarantee is that you can't guarantee what's going to happen, especially around your finances and unexpected expenses. So live below your means and take surplus money to create an emergency fund that accounts for 6 months of your living expenses so that you have that financial buffer to cover your ass in case you need it. The second aspect of becoming unbreakable is becoming mentally and emotionally unbreakable. The way you do that is by facing your fears consistently, exposing yourself purposefully to anxiety. If you're afraid of public speaking, go face that fear and speak to people. If you're nervous talking to the opposite sex, go talk to them. Get out of your comfort zone. Go ask for numbers. If you're nervous giving presentations at work, give more presentations. Face your fears. It's not about your fears diminishing or eradicating your fears. It's about becoming stronger in the face of those fears and expanding your comfort zone. So spend your 20s addressing your greatest fears and anxieties and facing them consistently. There is nothing more powerful than doing that. It's a classic tool from cognitive behavioral therapy. And I'm just going to come out and say it. It wouldn't hurt you if you faced a major rejection or a major failure. I'm not saying go out there looking to get your heart broken or go out there looking to fail miserably, but take risks. Risk living and risk loving. Risk going for your dreams and your business because your 20s is the time to do it. And if you fail, you will get the benefit of bouncing back and becoming resilient. You will get those battle scars and it will put you in a position to succeed the next time. You will become unbreakable mentally and emotionally. You better believe I've failed a million times. I've been rejected a million times, but it's only made me stronger and it's increased my sphere of comfort to the point that people say, wow, you talk to that stranger so easily. Well, that took time. It took exposing myself to my anxiety. Because let's be real, I used to be an anxious kid. I was that anxious nice guy. So if there's hope for me, there's hope for you. Get after it and do more poetry. And finally, step number 3 to becoming unbreakable is becoming spiritually unbreakable. What I mean by that is implement a spiritual practice. Commit yourself to something bigger than yourself. I was raised Christian, and my Christian faith is really important to me. I'm not going to project that onto you and tell you that you need to be a Christian, but you need to find some type of spiritual practice, something, again, bigger than yourself, so that when you hit rock bottom and when you're struggling in your weakest times, you have something greater than you to rely on. You're not relying on your own strength. That happened for me when I faced a clinical depression for 7 months in the pandemic. And I had thoughts pop in my head that were heavier than I ever expected, thoughts I never thought I would ever face and hear rattling around in my brain. It was the scariest time. I felt like I lost my mind. I felt like, what did I have? I was going crazy, and I leaned on my faith. I leaned on God, and He helped pull me out. It's almost inexplicable. It was like a surrender. But I had my trust in something greater than me. It made all the difference. Because there are going to be times where you hit your rock bottom, you're completely broken and weak, but then you will be built up stronger and you will rise up like a phoenix, from ashes to new. Know that having a spiritual practice and believing in something greater than you will pay off. It will make you unbreakable at the deepest level. It will be your foundation, like building a house on a rock instead of shifting sand. Because life is constantly changing and dynamic, and it's chaotic. And if we don't have a firm foundation, we don't have firm roots spiritually, we're gonna just shift with the sand. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was entertaining and informative. And I hope that it can help you be in a position to be truly unbreakable as you pursue your dreams, because you're worthy of those dreams. You're gonna get them if you keep showing up and you keep pushing through and you don't give up or take yourself out of the race. Not to get heavy, guys, but I'm passionate about this because life is hard. Let's be real, it's hard, it's not easy, but it's so rewarding when you pursue and push through. That's what we gotta do. I know we're talking about being unbreakable, but don't be afraid to break that like button if you enjoyed this video and you got some value out of it. The YouTube algorithm will bless me and show this to more faces of people that might benefit from the message. And make sure to subscribe because I'm coming at you every week with tips on how to sell more and live more. Love y'all.